Hello and welcome to Just My Thoughts. I'm your host Khaleel Ward, and it's the road to Avengers Endgame. So on this podcast, I just want to talk about Endgame predictions. There's a lot of predictions going around and theories, but nobody really knows what's going to happen. So I'm just going to spitball some ideas. I know the trailers, they only really showed the beginning of the movie. That's what the director said. But I also know that some of the shots in the trailer might not be in the movie, so I don't trust them that much, when they say stuff. But I have a lot of questions, spoilers for Captain Marvel. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but in her mid-credit scene when they have Fury's pager, I'm wondering, how did they find the pager? Because everybody dusted. It's not like, I don't think they have tags on Fury's car to find him, and how much time has passed from them actually finding the pager, or how much time has passed from Infinity War to Endgame. I don't think they said, how much time has passed, and I don't know if they will acknowledge it, when the movie starts, when they did that Super Bowl ad, and they show the Statue of Liberty and they show Citi Field and all the fog and everything, and it looks like a lot of time has passed. So, and you also see Cap in therapy. So I'm not sure if they're going to acknowledge the amount of time that has gone by, since the snap. But for me, I didn't look at every single trailer. I don't like the TV spots. I don't want to see anything really else from the movie. It's a few days away. But I think the movie starts out with them looking at Fury's pager, just like the Captain Marvel scene. And that whole scene plays out. Captain Marvel shows up. They tell her what happened and, what happened with Fury and, why he's not there. And they're probably questioning where have you been and everything. I believe there is a trailer or something online showing those first 5 minutes or something like that, but I didn't watch it because I didn't want to know. But I think they break it down what happens, and of course she wants to go fight, and I think they go fight. Cap shaves, and I think they go out there and fight because in one of the trailers you see them in a ship, and you just see Thor, Rocket, Cap, Captain Marvel, I think Rhodey, and Black Widow. You don't see AntMan and Iron Man or anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe they go out there and they find Thanos on the farm and they lose again. And something happens to Captain Marvel. I don't know. Thanos does something to her because at that point he will still have all the stones, even though they probably are a little damaged, but I think he sees how strong she is, and he does something to her first, and then, he defeats them again, and they come back. They go back to the Avengers Tower, looking all distraught and everything. I don't know. After that fight, I think they show Nebula and Tony, and I think Nebula walks in on Tony, after he gives his speech to Pepper, and I think they have the back and forth, because no matter how dire this movie will be, there will be some jokes. So I think Tony and Nebula will go back and forth, with each other, because that's how they are, those two characters. And then I think while they're doing that, they'll figure out how to get home, or how to speed up the process. Because you see I think it was the Super Bowl trailer where you see them really working and doing stuff. I think as they squabble, a spark will go off because Tony's really smart like that. Nebula's also smart, and they'll figure out something and they'll start getting to work. And as they get to work, I think back at the mansion, AntMan shows up. I think they're going through footage trying to figure out, what's going on. And I think AntMan comes and they break everything down to him. And while that's happening, later on that night, I think that's when Tony shows up and he comes back, because it seems to be nighttime when he comes back. The one part of the trailer where they all looking up, and then the other part when he's hugging Pepper is dark, and Nebula and Rocket are sitting on the ship steps and it's dark. So I think Ant-Man comes first, then Tony arrives. He probably gives Cap the shield they was talking about in Spider-Man Homecoming, along with Thor's magic belt, whatever that is. But I think when Tony comes back, that's when they start working on stuff. Scott tells them, about the quantum realm and everything about that. And I think Tony starts studying his suit along with Bruce, because they're the geniuses, and they start fixing stuff up and, get everybody a suit made. And that's when, they try to put the plan into fruition. I think when they're walking through the hangar, they're going to enter the quantum realm or something like that. And that's when I think they go to different time periods and different events and try to stop it, stop Thanos from getting the stones or something like that. Because from what they show, they show Cap and Rocket and War Machine look like they in a battle. And that might be on, I forgot what planet they said, but they don't really show a lot of fighting sequences. You see Hawkeye running and then this explosion, but you don't see a lot of people fighting, and you don't see a lot of different locations. And I think it's going to be a lot of locations in this movie. So they're showing us a little bit, but there's so much more that will take place for a 3-hour movie, and I think the other characters will see them, because we know Spider-Man is coming back and, stuff like that. So I think when they go in the quantum realm and AntMan is trying to explain to them what happens there, I think that's when they branch out and you see other people. And even before Infinity War came out, when Tom Holland and Benedict Cumberbatch were talking about, they were talking about the movies, and Tom Holland said something about Cumberbatch having to say all the quantum lines. And as we know, Ant-Man is the guy who's in the quantum realm and always talking about quantum, as he jokes in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And Doctor Strange never says anything about the quantum realm. So in Endgame, I believe we'll see Doctor Strange somewhere, maybe in the quantum realm or something like that. Maybe he'll explain what he did with the time stone, because you have the theories that he used the time stone before he gave it to Thanos. And it does make sense, because the stones only glow when it's being used. Even when Doctor Strange uses it in his own movie, it glows. When Thanos uses the stones in the movie, they glow. Other than that, they don't glow. And when Thanos was fighting Doctor Strange and he said, "You didn't use your greatest weapon," and you see Doctor Strange just using all his mystic art stuff, and he grabs him and he just snatches the necklace and breaks it. And he was like, "Oh, a fake." So where did Strange put the stone? And he literally pulls it out of thin air and it's glowing. And, Thanos is good, but he's not going to know if he's, I guess, in a time loop or whatever. So the fact that he gives Thanos the stone and it's glowing, maybe he was using it to put himself somewhere in time or space in a different realm, so he could communicate with them. So I think maybe they run into Doctor Strange while he's there, and he's also giving them information about the different realms and the different possibilities, along with Ant-Man, as they figure out this plan to combat Thanos. And I know there's another scene where Thor, Cap, and Iron Man are like on the war-torn planet, and Thanos is sitting there and they're like walking up to him. I don't even think that's the final battle. I think that's one of the parts where they run into him going through different dimensions in time. And they say that Thanos might not be the final bad in Endgame. There might be somebody else, and maybe they team up with Thanos. I don't think they team up with Thanos. I think they find a way to defeat him, but it just won't be in a regular battle. It'll be a lot of sacrifices made. People will be brought back, but I don't think Cap dies, honestly. I think Iron Man might die, but his voice, they keep Robert Downey Jr.'s voice as the new AI going forward, especially with like Iron Man. So I think Iron Man may die. I'm not sure about Cap. I don't know. He just seems like he'll just go away. He won't die, but he'll leave or something like that. I'm not sure who else will die. Maybe Hulk, because Mark Ruffalo spoke that he died in Infinity War. He filmed a scene of him dying. So maybe they bring that back. Black Widow, we know, is getting her own movie. Thor Ragnarok was a great movie, so I don't see them killing him just yet. Maybe Rhodey. I know he's not, that important, but maybe he dies. But there's a lot for a 3-hour movie, and these trailers are, I think they're fantastic in the fact that, one, there's fake stuff in there that we won't see, so that's great, and it's just, it looks like the same scenes, with just voiceovers and stuff. You see a lot of the same stuff, and I like that for these big blockbusters that don't show a beginning of the movie, a middle of the movie, and the end of the movie, and you piece together, what might happen. It all looks like it's in the same area. We don't really see. I think they gave us the Avengers together just to show that they will be together, and it's focused on these people here, but it just, you don't see them doing too much. But I think that for the main points, something happens to Captain Marvel. Tony comes back after Ant-Man. He gives Cap and Thor new stuff, new equipment. Ant-Man tells them about the quantum realm. I think they run into Doctor Strange in one of those realms, or dimensions, and Strange shows them something else there. I don't know how they bring anyone back. I don't know how that's gonna work, and I think Thanos will be the final guy, and Tony will sacrifice himself, kind of like how he did in Avengers 1 when he was willing to drop the nuke in space and they didn't know if he was gonna come back. I think he does sacrifice himself in this to save everyone, and then they figure it out after Tony's dead, and then they just reestablish everything. So I don't know. Avengers Endgame is coming. It's a few days away. I know a lot of the press is going to see it. I think Tuesday when I release this podcast. So I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I just want to see. I just want to be in the theater with all the fans and watch the movie. But let me know your excitement level. What do you predict for this movie? This big blockbuster movie that we were waiting for a whole year. What are your predictions? Who dies? How do they figure things out? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for listening. Deuces.